borwa le ka ntle ga mellwane ya yona.
This is Heart to Heart with Sibongile Mofokeng on Radio Pulpit. Heart to Heart.
Yeah, it is Heart to Heart with Miss Sibongile Mofokeng. Oh my, I'm just about to greet Dr. Mkize and she just disappeared right there. I wonder if her network is giving her problems. All right, let me try to reconnect with her because she was like really on standby. She was already here. Now, angazi kwenzakaleni. Some of the things that are happening in studio. She was just here, like now. Now I'm just about to say hello to you, my queen, and then okay, all right. I nearly had a heart attack right there. That's it. You
Oh,
also
man.
nearly had a
You
heart
also
attack.
nearly had a heart attack. I always had a heart attack. Like, no.
So what's up with your
So what's up with
network?
your
All is well?
network? All is well? No, all is well. Yeah, all is well. We made sure.
Okay, but there's something that we
Okay,
just
but
need
there's
to
something
fix
that we just need
with
to
you
fix
right now.
with
Let
you
me
right
just do
now.
this and then
Let
we
me
can
just
fix
do this
that
and then we can fix
quickly.
that quickly.
All right, let me do
All right,
this
let me do
and then let's
this
fix that.
and then let's fix that.
strong.
With Sibongile Mofokeng on Radio Pulpit.
Those are awesome songs coming there from Smoking Awful, and the song is Don't Quit. Don't quit. There's still a long way to go. You are not alone. The Lord is with you right there. All right, the time now, 28 minutes just before 1. I am now connected to Dr. Mkhize. What a run. Hey? What a run. But all things worketh together for good to them that love the Lord. So we love the Lord and it works together for our good. My queen. Welcome.
Hello.
Now, my queen, we are in the new month. So many of us are going through a lot. Yesterday, I had a wonderful time. Actually, from Friday, I was attending a prayer session for the nation. It was announced quickly. It was something that was done like within 2 weeks. It was arranged, and there was a prayer at the Union Buildings with Bishop Thabo Masinya. And so I listened to some of the prayers that were made there, praying for our women, praying for our children, praying for our government. We are heading towards the elections, and there's so much that's happening. Where are we going today in terms of our psyche?
Well, I think where we are, just like the seasons are changing, everything is changing. And we all need to take a deep breath and evaluate. Because if we let ourselves and we let our minds and our emotions to run with everything that is changing, we're going to find ourselves in the middle of a storm. Sometimes it's good to be still and just take a deep breath.
Do we know how to be still?
Evaluate everything
Do we
that
know?
is happening around you.
But do we know how to be still?
Unfortunately, in the fast-paced world that we live in, we might think that we are still going to be taking a coffee break, which is a very big difference indeed. But sometimes that's what we actually need to do, go into our prayer closets. I mean, that meeting was very, very powerful and very, very important, that even as a nation, everything is moving so quickly. We are getting lost, especially with the elections coming up, with the economy changing. Everything is just changing a little bit too quickly. So sometimes we need to just pause, just slow down and just have a look at situations as they are, not with what's happening around us. Sometimes, for example, my son was just complaining this morning. He's like, the weather in Eastern Cape or Western Cape, it's terrible what's happening with those people. Mama, at least I won't have to go to school today. Like, what do you mean you won't have to go to school? It's happening out there. In Joburg, we are still okay. We still have a little bit of rain. You're going to school. Like, but Mama, look, the ceilings are moving and everything. Like, okay, calm down. Be still. Is it happening in your space right now? Thank God it's not happening, and we pray for those people, but it's not happening to you. It's happening around you. So you need to still proceed. You still have a life to continue. You still have a lot of things that you still need to get through. Because if we allow our emotions to get carried away, just like my son, you will be operating in the Western Cape, yet you are in Gauteng.
Ivana. That's something. So what are some of the techniques that we can use to pause, breathe?
Meditation, prayer, those are very good techniques. And actually, again, teachers, when we do this, we are in class. The teacher will always say, take out your pen and paper. This is that moment. Take out your pen and paper, write it down. What you need to write it down. What is happening around me? How does it affect me? with all of the elections and everything, like we said, economically, let's look at everything. If we're going to run with everything is expensive, it's time to cut down on the budget. That is also part of slowing down. So basically to now face reality as it is and start looking at your situation. But take it to God in prayer. Take it, have that moment. Be at home for a second. When the weekend comes, be at home, assess your evaluation, evaluate your situation at home. What does it look like? Are we going to make it? What do we need to cut down on? Everything is just moving too quickly, unfortunately, but we need to have that moment to slow it down. When you go to church, it's good to pray for everything, for everybody that is happening, but who prays for you? It's time you go back to prayer and actually pray for yourself. God, please help me, because this is also the time where we find a lot of high suicide rates. We find a lot of depression. We find, never mind that the weather is just changing. Now we're going into different
Winter.
seasons. A lot of people are finding themselves stuck. They don't know what to do. They don't know what is the next step. So let us write it down. Let's see, like you do a timeline. This is where I need to be. What are the steps that are going to take me to where I need to be? So you need to be in the now. You need to be in the present. There's nothing more important right now than being in the present. You need to be in now. You need to pause and not to look at everything that is happening around you. Bring it back home.
What do you do when you feel overwhelmed? Because some of us are feeling overwhelmed with everything changing, as you said. And so there's this feeling that, will I even thrive? Will I even make it? You spoke about economy changes. We spoke about things now becoming a little bit more expensive. Now, where do you begin to calm yourself down? Yes, I know you said meditation, but some of us are overwhelmed. How do you deal with that? Because you try to meditate, but there's noise. Everything that's there makes more noise than you trying to calm yourself down.
Unfortunately, we have to come back to reality again, because for economy, when everything is becoming so expensive, there's nothing that you can do. It's just the economy. You can't change it. So sometimes it's understanding where your power lies. There is nothing that you can do about the changing of economy. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. Petrol tomorrow, it's going to go up, and then it's going to go a little bit down, then even more higher. There's nothing that we can do about that. But we have to become more realistic. What is within my control? Where does my power lie? What can I change in my circumstances? Sometimes we give in to things that we are out of our control too easily, because that's just how it is. Sometimes there are plans that can be made. If now the petrol is a little bit, it's a bit too higher, and really I don't know how I'm going to make it to work. There is, if you come back to yourself and you look at your reality, you look at the resources that God has given around you, you'd find yourself that you are in a community, that you're not the only one who's going that direction. A lift club. That's one way that we can work into saving. So basically, if you come back into yourself and you own your power and the things that you can control, all of a sudden, the overwhelming, it tends to go down a bit and solutions do come. Sometimes we tend not to talk about it because it is embarrassing. Now I can't afford transport and people are going to be asking me, what am I doing with my money? Like I've got debt from here to Timbuktu and back. I just need help. Sometimes this is the moment where we cry out for solutions. Take it to God in prayer. Yes, God will help you you'll find people that are going to come to you with different solutions. This is not the time to be egotistic. This is the time to find solutions for the problems that we are in.
May the Lord
so
help.
It's very important sometimes that we need to live that little, chip on our block and actually accept the solutions that God is actually throwing our ways. Because sometimes the solution has always been at my doorstep. But because I am too proud or I'm too scared or I'm too embarrassed, then we tend to, push it away. That is just not for me. I'm not going to not buy my cup of coffee because then people are going to say I am broke. Reality is you are broke, and by cutting down on that cup of coffee, you might have saved yourself and have money to go to work than losing the job.
I was talking to some guys at I'm going to say a garage. I went to fill up my tank and I met these guys, even those ones who were serving me, and they were talking about a man who took his life and took his family's life as well. And the note that he left was he can't cope. And others are talking about anxiety. They are anxious. Some of them don't even know or realize that the whole situation and the change that's there, everything that's happening brings anxiety in their lives to an extent that they only discover that they are anxious whilst they are in hospital, admitted because they thought they had a heart attack. How do we deal with that?
Unfortunately, especially, I'm glad that you brought up that they were actually male, because most of our brothers, they are suffering out there. And it really is unfortunate, and I'm not bashing anybody, but also we women in their lives, we tend to add to this situation that they are in. It is so sad because we've also taught them that if you cannot speak out, you cannot cry out if you've got a problem as a man. Indoda ifela ngaphakathi. You should not be crying. It's taboo. It shows your weakness. Unfortunately, then most guys find themselves that they do not open up with their problems. They even find it hard, like what this gentleman says, I cannot cope anymore. And probably the family did not know that my husband, my partner, was not coping, because we kept on expecting so much when there wasn't. He was at his wit's limit. He was right at the very end, where now he was in this dark tunnel and there was not any more to give. You can't give from an empty cup. There's absolutely nothing you can give. You can try and try. The cup is empty. So it's up to us now to actually encourage guys, like, please, you need to talk. These things are seasonal. There's a season for everything. These things, they change. So trust me, your change is coming and things are going to change for the better. And things do change for the better. They really do. But you also need to participate in wanting that change for the better. But if you already been cut off, that you cannot even think about a better change, really, it becomes such a heavy burden, especially on our fathers, because what man and their pride, and not pride in a negative sense, because having a pride on who you are is a good thing. So having that pride as a man, that you're going to come home and be called useless because you could not afford to buy a loaf of bread. So sometimes we do add to these guys' misery. And it is one of the most saddest things, because also, like I said, with generational, we've never taught our brothers to speak out. We don't have platforms for them. We laugh at them when they come to issues. They can't even go to a therapist and open up, because for them it's taboo. What do you take
It's
me
not
for?
being manly.
And they develop anger. And
Yeah.
once they develop anger and resentment, because it seems like you're undermining them. You're telling me I'm a man, I cannot sort out my own problems. Yet that very same man is crying out loud. Even with abuse, GBV. I mean, you brought up a very, very sore point with our males. Even with GBV, some of the GBV cases that we hear, and we ask the guy will tell you that I blocked out because I was so angry. They do not appreciate who I am. They do not appreciate who I am. I've given and given and given. They don't even know that at work there's somebody who's spitting on my face for me to get the bread that they're complaining about. You know what? But have you actually expressed that without being physical? Have you ever told them, no, why would I tell them? I'm a man. I handle my own problems.
Somebody said out there it's very rough. And when they come home to a place where they feel this is my rest. This is where I'm going to unwind. This is where I'm going to heal. Because out there at work, in the world, it's really tough for men.
It is very tough. I mean, we deal with different people who've got different agendas. We deal with different spiritual entities. We are constantly fighting battles. Some of the battles, we don't even see them with our own eyes. hands and say that prayer, people who live without prayer is like, wow, I don't know how you do it. For me, if you want to know my secret to success, half the time I fight my battles through prayer, because we deal with so much out there. You go to work. Some people, they've got really, really difficult jobs out there, and you want to come home to your sanctuary. You want to come home to your palace. You want to come home where you are appreciated, you are wanted, you are welcome. And then you come home and you're facing these kids and they've got school fees, or they've been kicked out because school fees is not paid. You go home, there is no food because, things did not go very well that month. So there's so much that we are carrying in our shoulders. The importance that I always promote with guys is that if you want to see a strong man is the one who takes care of himself, even emotionally, even spiritually. Go to find help. Go find therapy. Even if it's not therapy, find somebody that you can talk to. We've got church elders that we can talk to. Find somebody who you can confide in a very, really confide space where they will not ridicule you or think less of you because you are in so much pain. Some of the guys that I see in my practice, like a hug will go such a long way. Because they don't know what that is. Every single day, they're even ridiculed by their own brothers because I'll come to you man to man and I tell you what this problem is. And then the next answer you come and tell me that, now you're behaving like a girl. Now you're behaving like a girl. Forgetting that your wisdom could have saved my life in that moment. I just needed your shoulders.
I needed a brother. I needed a friend. I needed a wife.
Exactly. So for that moment, you don't know. And now I go home and you've already ridiculed me and called me all of these colorful names. I feel like I don't have a safe space to go to.
In terms of women, what makes them then also anxious during this time?
Women, we know we the Mbogoto.
Are we always anxious? Are we always anxious?
We are the Mbogotos of it all. You want it, we are the it. But what makes us anxious, or at least what I have picked up, is it's the fear of not being able to make it. Am I going to be able to make it at the end of this month? Are we going to be able to make it? That whatever the next goal is, it's the fear of not being able to make it. So we go around already pacing about tomorrow, and we forget about today. It's like, no, today is fine. Today will sort itself out, but I'm more worried about tomorrow. What's going to happen to these kids? Winter's coming. We need new clothes for the kids. And with women, it's mostly the smallest things that they tend to worry about. If this man does not come home with this bread, what am I going to do? I am also going to work, but things are just not balancing. So what am I going to do? It's always pacing for the next day. And this is where we're like, okay, if you made it today and you made a plan for today, you will make a plan for tomorrow. Let's focus on today. Let's be grateful for today. You've made it today. Trust me, if you made it for today, you will make a provision for tomorrow.
Okay.
And African women, and especially Tines Kuluswa Bokoko, we know you always, there's a plan to be made. We cannot sleep hungry when you know how to make amakwin. There's no way. That's not going to happen. So we were bred to always come up with a plan. But now the anxiety is that because we are part and parcel of the economy, are we actually going to make it? I find that mostly that's the common thing. Like, I've got anxiety for tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay this. I don't know if I'm going to, like if you bring it back here and if you made it today, the plan for tomorrow will come.
Okay. So how do we learn to live in the now? Because what you're saying says to me, it means we are living tomorrow, in the tomorrow. And Auntie, tomorrow might look totally different. God can just flip it just like that. God can flip the switch. So how do we learn to live in the now and not in the tomorrow, where we are afraid of the unknown for tomorrow?
It is one of the most tricky things to do because it also has to go with your belief system. You know, if you are believing that, or you've been raised to always panic about tomorrow, to try and change somebody's mind that actually tomorrow it will take care of itself. Look at where you are today. It really does become a little bit difficult. But I always say that you need to be grateful for what you have today. And the most common answer, but Dr. Sibo, I am grateful for what I have today. I just don't know if tomorrow is going to be. Wait. How did you make it today? What did you do today to make this day happen? And by the way, tomorrow does not exist. We are always on the today. So if you made it today, come 12 o'clock midnight, tomorrow has disappeared. It becomes today. So you are always living on the today. So if tomorrow never really exists and you are making it today, from day to day, then we should be more appreciative or more cognizant of what you are doing today and how you made it work today. The only thing that should be for tomorrow is how do I take what I've made and what I have today and make it better for tomorrow.
All right. Sure, Ndlovukazi, our time, I'm so sorry for today, but it's not us.
Hey,
We are at war, so we have to fight to stay on the airwaves. What do we say in closure for today, for we have been encouraging family?
For today, I would like to say, like the changing season, you know, it's cold now, but it's going to be summer soon. Hold on. It's going to get better. And don't let your mind and your emotion run with everything that is happening. Bring it back home. Bring it back home. Bring it back to reality. Look at your own situation. And don't look at what everything else or what everybody else is doing. You're the only one who's living your life. You know what your reality is. Be grateful for what you can do and leave your ego and find help. There is always help. There is never any reason to take your life while the God has blessed us with so many people and so many resources that can help us.
Wow.
And far more importantly, when somebody comes knocking at your door, before you ridicule them, before you do that, just remember that could have easily been you.
That could have easily been you. Now, if I would like to talk to Dr. Sibo directly, how do I do so?
You can contact us on 081 374 5325.
081 374 5325. All right. Thank you so much. I know we owe you more, so we will fix that. But thank you for those words. We need those. And from time to time, I think we really need to take a pause, take a break, reflect, and also look at where we are failing and trust God, pray about it so that He can help us through. Thank you so much, my queen, for today.
Amen.
May the Lord keep keeping you. We love you. We'll be back with you soon.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. And family, that is Dr. Sibo Mkhize. Do remember she is a psychologist, and you can contact her and talk to her. You can go. There is somebody who's willing to listen. There is somebody who's willing to listen, who's willing to even assist you. You can call her line 081 374 5325. It's 081 or 081 374 5325. Alternatively, you can call Radio Pulpit as well, and somebody will be there to can just talk to you. 012 334 1200. They will point you to our counselors as well. You need not die alone. You need not die in that space. Throughout even the season, know that He's the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. He is for you.
Thapelo ya Musiami e nonofile go dira tse